Yo, what's up ladies and gents? Today I want to cover some of the New World Aeternum changes and whether I personally think it's worth coming back to the game from October 15th and onwards for returning players or new players. And if you've watched any of my previous New World videos, you know that I am quite critical of the game. But I think my conclusion might surprise you. But really quickly, I feel like I should address this first. What's going to happen in October and how are you going to play New World Aeternum? So, New World Aeternum is free for all players that currently have the base game. Angry Earth expansion is still required if you want to get to level 65, get a mount, get the highest gear score, do all the dungeons. Basically, if you want access to all of the content, you need the Angry Earth expansion because the base game is limited. But you will get the update to New World Aeternum. You don't need to buy the game again, so don't stress about that. If you're on console, you just buy New World Aeternum, and that has the base game and Angry Earth expansion. You don't have to worry about that. So it's bundled together as one, so don't stress. So the New World Aeternum open beta ended a couple days ago, and I played roughly 30 hours of it, and I'd be lying if I didn't say that I had a lot of bugs, glitches, crashes, etc. during my playthrough. I seem to be a minority with the amount of stuff that happened to me, but even with the possibility of these things happening to a new or returning player are not good. So what did I experience? I got a lot of crashes on DirectX 12. I got less crashes, but still crashing on DirectX 11. I got a lot of combat desync. Apparently not everyone was getting that. But my internet is fine, so I don't think it's that. I'm also on a wired connection, so I'm not really sure. But if you played during Season 5 of New World, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I also have some clips showcasing some desync in the background as well. Weapon swapping improved since the start of Season 5, but not as good as pre-Season 5. Some quick context for those of you that don't know. New World's combat code was the same for like 2.5 years, but 5 or 6 months ago they changed it, and it really made everything pretty scuffed, and there was a lot of desync. So you'd be like swinging your weapon, you'd be absolutely wailing on the enemy, you'd be taking no damage, or you'd like rubber band or stuff. Or something that was happening a lot to me was like I would shoot arrows and they would just go like off to the side. So they've really like messed up the combat code like 5 months ago, but it has improved since then, and maybe slightly more so in the beta as well, but it's definitely not even close to perfect. I saw someone stuck in a flying state. I don't think it's the same as what I experienced before. I also watched a couple streamers have this problem where they first loaded into the game and like nothing loaded in. It was just like the water 20 meters down from where they were standing, and they were like falling and stuff. I didn't get that one, but it seems like that sort of thing is still there. However, I would say that combat is improved since the beginning of Season 5, so even though that scuffed update happened about 6 months ago and hasn't been fixed, it has been improved, so that's something. So now that most of the negativity is out of the way, I'm going to cover some of the changes made going from current New World to New World Aeternum. So first we have crossplay. Now this is certain servers will have crossplay, only Fresh Start, none of the legacy servers will have it, but there are like cross-play and cross-server group activities. So if you queue up for a mutation, or you queue up for OPR, or you queue up for arena, it will also look for other people queuing up on different servers, whether they are on console or PC. It will put you together in a match. So there's 2 different versions of cross. They've added aim lock, which we knew was going to be in the game, but only for PvE. They didn't specify PvP, but aim lock is now in the game, in PvP, and for some things it's useless, like a bow or a musket if they're like further than 10 meters away, because it's a projectile, and if the other person's moving, it's going to miss, it's going to go behind them. But on melee it seems to be broken, on blunderbuss it seems to be broken. Trick won 2 1v1s with a blindfold on using aim lock. I think that's enough to say it's a problem, but I think the devs also said that they were going to think about it. So maybe It won't be on launch, maybe it will be on launch, maybe they'll use some other solution on launch, we don't know. There's 3 new dungeons, so there's 2 5-man dungeons and 1 10-man raid. The 10-man raid is going to be one way of getting your 725 gear score as well, which I'll come to later. They've revamped the tutorial. It honestly, like, no one asked for this, but it does look awesome. It does look pretty cool. I like the new tutorial. It's way better. So for a new player, you know, that's a good change. Personally, I don't care, but it looks pretty cool. So I have to say that. They revamped the main story quest. They've got some new cutscenes. They've changed the look of some of the characters. It's just like slightly better now. Nothing like super duper crazy or insane. I'm still going to skip most of it, but it is slightly improved. Repeatable soul trials for rewards. So as you're going through the main story quest, there are certain soul trials that you do, which is like basically a 1v1 boss kind of thing, PvE. You can now redo those for rewards, so that's like an extra repeatable endgame thing that you can do, which is cool, I guess. They now also added DirectX 12 support, which is cool. I was crashing a lot, but not everyone was. Some people used DirectX 12 the whole weekend and were fine, so good change, but for me, kind of sucked. New fresh start servers coming on October 15th as well with crossplay. Desync slightly improved. You no longer need to repair your gear, which is awesome. So before, every time you died in PvE or PvP, your gear would get slightly damaged until it became broken, and you wouldn't get any of your attribute points from it anymore, and you'd need to either spend gold or repair parts to repair it. They got away with that system, so that's pretty nice. I like that. They've added an end game PvP island, so I think once you're level 60, actually no, you can go there at any point, or at least you can at level 30. You wouldn't want to though, because there'll be between level 60 and 65 people that will just like two-shot you if you're not max level. But it seems pretty cool, but there's only 2 exits, and it's a lawless zone, so there's no gameplay mechanics in place to stop teaming or camping of exits or anything like that. So it's a cool idea, but I think the execution is really bad, and I think there's going to be a lot of problems with it, and I think the devs are going to take too long or never to sort of make a way around those problems. So kind of interested to see how it's like on launch when people start going there, but I feel like it could be quite a bad experience actually. So gear score raised from 700 to 725, which you earn from either the PvP island or the new 10-man raid. You can no longer craft 725, well, you can no longer craft the best in slot gear anymore. I think it goes up to 700 like it did before, but you can't craft 725 gear score items. I know a lot of people are not going to be happy about that. Maybe they'll make a change, I don't know, but there is one new weapon ability for Sword and Shield. I haven't even used it. I'm not too bothered. I'm not like a big Sword and Shield guy. Kind of disappointed that there weren't more abilities added, or like another weapon added or something like that, but yeah. One new ability. We've got matchmaking added for Arena and OPR, so now it will try and find one healer per team, like 3v3 or the 20v20 when you're in groups of 5. So there would be like 4 healers each side, like ideally. And they have a hidden MMR, which is your matchmaking rating. So if you do good, you're more likely to have worse players on your team and be sort of balanced against better players. I don't think it's going to stop queues from happening though, so I think it's just going to take all the people, all the 40 people, or 6 people if we're talking about Arena, and just evenly distribute the skill between the teams. And that's how that's going to work. We got swimming, kind of a meme, but we got swimming. I'm sure some people are going to be way too happy about that. I don't care, because there's nowhere to swim to. I guess it's nice. Stop you drowning. Yeah. Swimming, huge. I think the weapon XP leveling is slightly faster, so that's also a nice change. Mobs get staggered now from your attacks, so whereas before you could get staggered by them and stagger locked by them, but you couldn't stagger them. But now you can stagger them, so pretty cool change. We've got class archetypes. So basically you like pick a class at the start of the game. You don't commit to anything though. You can still use any weapon that you want, any set of armor that you want, but it just gives you some stuff that you might prefer to use at the start of the game, which is kind of cool. But when I picked the archer class, it gave me medium armor. What the hell, AGS? Like, come on, we all know if you're an archer, you play light. Even not in New World, in like every game ever. If you're archer, you play light, right? Why are you giving us medium armor? Come on. Another change was gear obtained from quests are tailored to your current build, which is a nice change. There's some new combat / gameplay settings, and they removed the nameplate limit setting, which I found quite strange. Now, that does sound like a lot of changes, and in a way it kind of is, but they're all mostly small things that act as like a final polish from the dev's perspective. Obviously, this doesn't solve the many issues that PC players have been complaining about for the last 3 years, e.g. the endgame content is not very large, and specifically with this gear score change and how you'd want to go about getting it, it makes a lot of the previous endgame content pointless, as you will not get the gear or drops that you want. For fresh start people, it will make sense to do it, but it won't make sense to do it as much, because you want to get like good enough gear to go get the gear score cap gear, if that makes sense. You won't want to run Mutation 3 dungeon over and over and over and over again to get your BIS piece, because it's only going to be 700 gear score, it won't be 725 gear score. So what's the point other than doing it for fun? However, if you're a new player, I'm going to cover why New World stood out to me 3 years ago when I started playing. In 2024, the graphics are nothing groundbreaking, but I still think that they look really good for an MMO. Even though AJS want to market it as an ARPG, so that they have no pressure to make consistent updates. But either way, it's a nice environment to play in. But the biggest reason really is the action combat. When it actually works and you're not desyncing, it's fantastic. Still the best, in my opinion, combat in an MMO ever. It's not tab target, and you sort of have to aim for the most part to land your attacks and abilities. It feels really good outplaying your enemies, dodging through them, reading their moves, and punishing them for it. No MMO beats it, and it will be 90% of the reason most of you will enjoy the game. On top of that, there are so many different weapons, and with those weapons there are a few different ways to use them and different abilities to use, etc. And you can make a lot of stuff work together quite well. So experimenting with your build is also another pretty fun thing in the game. Quests are meh, story is meh. It's not very engaging in my opinion. Maybe this is my ADHD FPS game main brain rot, but I'm sure that there are a lot of people that would agree with me. The story isn't necessarily bad, but I have an extreme urge to just spam through it so I can go and speak to the next person. So, what do I think about all of this? I think that October 15th Fresh Start servers will be the last time you can boot up New World, start fresh with new people on console or PC, discover the game together, work together, have random outbreaks of open world PvP in random locations, random trash talk, and truly have an authentic New World experience. The amount of fun I had in just the limited beta compared to the live game can really not be compared. Like, I actually had a lot of fun. And despite all the problems that the game has, I'm actually so excited to get on and start playing in October. It only took me like six hours, so probably the average person like 6 to 12 hours to reach level 30, and I'd much rather do that than stay in the stagnant, bitter legacy servers, which by the way I fully relate to, because watching this game go downhill made me really sad. But I truly think this is the last time we will get to experience New World and have a really good time. So, you know, I think that covers everything. Hopefully this helped you make a make a decision whether you're going to come back on October 15th, whether you're going to play Legacy, whether you're going to play Fresh Start, whether you're even going to buy the game if you're a new player. But yeah, I'm going to be playing October 15th, Fresh Start. I'm going to have a good time. It's going to be buggy. It's going to be memey. But I'm going to have a good time. So yeah, that concludes this video. I hope you can make a decision. And thank you for watching. Goodbye. Also, quick side note, all of the clips that I used from other content creators, I'm going to have a link to their channels and socials in the description. All of them are legends. If you haven't heard of them, definitely check out their stuff, and they'll probably all be playing in October 15th as well. So yeah, go show them some love.